dawns to fill the void. An unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio starting at 1. Glad to have you along. We are a call-in show. You can give us a call, 810-207-1764, Final Encounter Cast on Skype. Episode number 98. About to kind of ramp this thing up. Like, we're getting close. It's going to be done at episode number 100.
Only 2 to go. And can I just say that it feels a lot more cramped in here today than it has been.
I know, yes.
It's been a while. More than last week, you think?
Well, someone in the chat said that this must be witchcraft because you're here 2 weeks in a row.
I know. Well, we didn't do the game last week, so, I mean, here I am again.
Here you are again. Definitely not filling in for Nika or anything.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not.
So if we just push the game off again, then you're going to be here again next week?
No, absolutely
not. So that's the thing we have to do. Just push it off.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we'll never get to play improv games on LBR.
I hope you guys got something to talk about on the show today, then.
I got a game called What's in the Bag.
Is it What's in the Box or What's in the Bag?
It's What's in the Bag.
But it's in a box.
Yeah.
And it's his dick.
I
already
There we go.
know how
Run
this
it all the
game
way
is
back
played.
around.
Dad and I have played this game before.
Is it a cucumber? No, it's too small for that. Is it a kumquat?
It's an earthworm.
I had an awkward conversation with a coworker about a cucumber that was left on the counter at work.
Oh, boy.
It was so weird.
What was it? What was up with the cucumber?
Yeah,
She was like, I see you eyeing that cucumber. I was like, for what? Sorry, I'm not eyeing the lonely cucumber.
We cannot continue playing if you won't let go of the pickle.
It's weird. It was just I'm not saying it was suggestive in any way. I'm just saying it was an odd it was a queer conversation.
Yeah, I know all about those.
Who just leaves cucumbers sitting in places?
I mean, I do that to, like, scare my cat.
Do you have any doubt that there was a hidden camera in that room and you are on a YouTube video somewhere now?
Yeah, I mean, that's possible.
Some BuzzFeed article, we left a cucumber in a room. Here were the results.
It wouldn't surprise me. Let me put it that way.
You didn't put it in your butt, right?
I did not put it in my butt. It was shrink wrapped.
Did
you want to?
No, I did not.
Wow, he answered that pretty quickly.
It was shrink wrapped.
He was prepared for that question.
Well, I mean, you can take off the shrink wrap and then put it in your butt.
If I'm going to put anything in my butt, I'm going to put an implement made for putting in butts in my butt.
You realize that shrink wrap is the poor man's condom.
I know. I learned in high school you always got to shrink wrap that bad boy before you put it in.
I'm
like
not.
Cucumber shrink wrap is like all pointy and stuff.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, that's not fun for the inside of a colon. Yeah, there's a lot of sharp edges on that thing.
Hard mode. You're a Dark Souls fan. It's Souls-esque.
It's a Soulsian anal dildo.
Have you guys seen that movie, The Shape of Water?
I have.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Did you know that there's like fish dick dildos based off of that movie now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that.
You can just kind of sit with that knowledge now.
Well, I already had that knowledge. So.
Is it like a cartoon fish or like an actual real life fish?
It's a fish guy.
Yeah, it's a fish guy. It's a romance story about a woman who falls in love with a fish man.
So wait, but is the dildo like just like a replica of the fish man, or just the fish man penis?
No, it's like a fish man penis.
In the movie, they don't actually show the penis. I mean, someone out there imagined what would this guy's penis look like.
Now, wait a minute. That's what I was going to say. Now, this is a Guillermo del Toro movie, which means that there was probably some concept art of the junk somewhere.
Fair, but just it wasn't in the movie itself.
Yeah, okay. All right. So it wasn't canonical junk?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So really this is
non-canonical
this is
genitals.
fan fiction genital.
There could be like EU junk out there, expanded universe junk that exists outside of the movie, but still within the canon of the lore.
Right. There's A canon and then there's B canon, and Fishman penis concept art is only B canon.
Oh, okay.
It's probably fair.
Subcanon.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, subcanon, yeah.
And then when Disney buys it out, they'll scrap all that away.
Oh,
and they'll
okay.
be able to decide what the Fishman penis looks like for
Right.
themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it's an important aspect, you know? Like, apparently it's been selling well-ish for
The
such
dildo?
a niche product. Yeah.
What is well-ish for a dildo?
I mean, well enough that I think that someone associated with the movie commented on it. I
Wow.
don't remember what they said. I just scrolled past it on.
Like, we're
How
talking
would
like
you not
American
remember
Dream
what they
sales?
said?
Huh?
How did you not remember what they said?
Because I don't care.
I mean, you care enough to like fantasize about cucumbers on desks and stuff at your work.
Did the cucumber
don't
look
even
similar
know
to the
how to
Fishman
answer that.
dildo?
No.
No.
No? Okay, wrong color?
No,
Shape.
no, actually the color was pretty.
Oh, pretty spot on.
You know
Yeah,
what?
it's
Hold
pretty
on.
close.
I'm bringing this up.
Yeah, tell me if it has like scales or if it's like spiky or not.
It's not spiky.
It's not
Well, that's
spiky.
good.
No.
Duke Burton suggests the cock has gills.
No.
There we go.
You don't need to come up for air.
I googled Fishman dildo, and the first link is someone designed a dildo based off the Fishman in the shape of water.
There you go.
Do you think cum is oxygenated?
Google it.
He's got it over
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna show it to Callie. Callie, would you fuck this?
Jesus Christ. I mean, now I feel like I have to bring it up. Can
no.
we even bring it
Oh,
up on
dear.
screen? I don't think we can bring it up
No,
on
that thing is
screen.
terrifying. No.
You wouldn't?
No. No, that looks like someone's shit in their hand.
Hold on, I gotta see.
No, I'm not a fan of that.
Let's see here. Oh,
Yeah, no, right?
I mean,
no.
I do feel
yeah, I would definitely choose a cucumber.
I
over
would
this.
love
Yeah, I'd take
to
the
be
cucumber.
able to bring up a visual representation,
No,
but
y'all
with
have
the
to
new
Google it
Twitch
yourself.
rules, I really don't know how Fishman genitalia are classified.
Can you put up a picture of like just a pile of shit?
He's got the whole rocket ship thing going on there,
Okay.
too. He's been jacking it too much since too young of an age.
Here's the thing, though. You look at it and you're like, ew, no, that looks like shit. But what if it was like neon pink? Then would you still think the same thing?
Just like monochrome neo pink, or is it like
Yes.
neon pink with like the black highlight?
No, it's just monochrome neon pink.
Like, at that point, like,
we're
what's
really just
even-
talking about the shape.
What's the point? Like, if it's just one color, like, you didn't put any effort into it, so how can I put effort into jacking off?
It is the coloration that's weird for me. If it was straight up neon pink, I might consider it.
All right, fair. That's fair.
Okay, all right. Now that the segment on fish genitalia is done,
I thought this was the cucumber segment.
No, now we can get back to the cucumber segment.
oh, okay.
Maybe we should just go to the news. Do we have any announcements we can talk about?
that this show is almost done. We're
That's it
And
for
this is
today's
why.
episode.
this, and now you know exactly why. Yeah, we're going to be concluding the show at episode 100 and starting the Let's Be Real podcast.
Will that show also have conversations about fish genitalia?
I mean, probably.
It should.
Knowing us.
Let's be real. We're still hosting it, so there's
Yeah.
a very good conversation.
Yeah.
Chance of the conversation happening.
Yeah!
You are really rusty on those drops, my friend.
That was a safe one.
Yeah.
Like that could really go after anything.
I mean,
You know, Norris showed you up when
Come on.
he was here.
Yeah!
Yeah, he did.
Let's get dangerous, okay?
You gonna be able to recover over there? You gonna be all right?
Still butthurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the fish genitalia or
Yeah.
from the cucumber.
the cucumber.
Yeah, that would be
Because
that'd be
Why
painful.
not both?
Well, because I haven't had access to that one. I've had access to tons of cucumbers.
Well, that one doesn't look like it would hurt all that much. I mean, if it's your first go around, it always hurts. But I mean, that one you'd probably be able to handle just fine. But a
I mean, it just
cucumber,
seems-
shrink wrap, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. That's how you end up with blood in your stool. You know.
Well, that's one way, sure. Yeah,
You can also eat really undercooked meat.
that's how you get your
another
rectum
way.
to fall out.
Yeah. You know, I had E. coli.
Rectum.
You know, I had E.
I
coli.
barely knew him.
You know, I had E. coli poisoning when I was a kid.
How was that?
You shit blood for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was scary.
I went into the hospital. Yeah.
Why would you eat raw cooked meat?
I didn't. I was served chicken nuggets that were undercooked by my school.
Oh, classic. I love it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's why we can't have chicken nuggets in school anymore.
How can you undercook chicken nuggets?
They undercooked chicken nuggets.
That doesn't even make sense. They come pre-cooked. I eat chicken nuggets frozen sometimes because I like the texture.
What? Ew.
Look, even Callie is outraged by that.
How is that possible? First of all, how do you not break your teeth? Second of all, why do you want a chicken-flavored popsicle? Third, I have so many fucking questions.
One, you just kind of put it in your mouth and chew and gnaw on it for a little bit, so it's like a popsicle.
Have you seen him do this? You've lived with him.
I haven't.
It's like eating a frozen pizza roll. It's the same concept.
You don't do
that either.
How do you not do this? Well,
Ew.
And the reason you do that is because A, it's quicker, and B,
it's not quicker.
Yes,
you
it is.
Throw the rolls in the microwave for 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Or you could put one in your mouth and just start warming it up with your saliva.
Ew. I like.
You are the grossest human being alive.
I've been gone for a bit, and I've forgotten how to tell when he's joking. I don't think he is, though.
No,
I am not the only person that does this. Chat, back me up on this, please.
No one in the chat is backing you up. Everyone is upset about this.
This is not okay. This is not okay.
YB10 says this guy has a child in the world.
Yes, he does. Yes.
That is
fact.
so bad.
Skuro just dry heaved.
Random.
You made Skuro dry heave.
The guy that put your dildo in his mouth dry heaved.
Well, it was an unused dildo, to be fair.
Yeah.
Let's.
And I helped him with that.
That said, how did you feel about the nacho cheese fries at Taco Bell?
Oh, I've had them. They're really good.
They're great, aren't they?
Well, they're not great. No, don't get me wrong. Like, they need to be cooked longer. They taste like breakfast potato
Says
French
the
fries.
guy eating uncooked fucking chicken nuggets.
Guys, Officer Cracker wants to know.
What the fuck is happening right now?
They're just frozen. They're fine.
Oh my god.
Advanced logic is glad Juxta's back.
Fucking god.
Duke Burden says Chris has reached a new level of fat.
This is just like I've never, dude.
What other frozen foods do you eat?
I've never looked at a pizza roll and went, I don't have time to put it in the microwave.
Tater tots?
You eat frozen tater tots.
On occasion.
And you're mad about the nacho fries at Taco Bell not being cooked long enough?
Well, yeah, I'm expecting the tater tots to not be cooked
I have
thoroughly.
tater tots out in my freezer. Go get him frozen tater tots.
Oh,
I need to see them.
Are they fresh? Like, are they expired?
No, that's a brand new bag.
Okay, yeah, bring it in here.
We're calling your bluff.
It's brand new.
Calling your bluff. I don't think you do this.
I bought these the last time I went to the store.
That does not fill me with confidence.
What do you mean?
Last time you went to the store?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you, because I've seen your refrigerator, and it's, frankly, terrifying.
It's an unopened bag, so there's not even freezer burn.
Okay,
unopened. See? Unopened.
And a good brand.
Yeah, Ore-Ida. Come on.
Oh, good shit. Let's get it.
If you actually eat one of these, I will say, never mind.
What are you going to say, buddy?
Nothing.
No, I actually want to know what you were going to say now.
I mean, it's going to take a long time because they're really frozen. But I'm going to eat it.
Can somebody please put the bag back in the freezer so they don't sit here and thaw?
He's not done.
I actually
Give me a bowl of them.
Oh my god. Son of a bitch. How did we get... We're not even into the news.
You're welcome.
How the fuck did we get here? This is why the show needs to come to an end. It's so... It is so unfocused.
Wait, hold on. I have a timeline, okay?
Sorry, not sorry.
Cucumber at your work. Cucumber and ass. Fish penis. I don't know how we got from the fish penis to this, though. Someone's going to have to help me with that one. How did we go from fish penis to frozen food?
I don't know.
Where was the connection?
Taco Bell fries.
No, well, how
that was in there somewhere.
Yeah, but it doesn't explain how we went from fish penis to that.
You brought it up somewhere.
So while I was putting those back, it started to break down in my mouth, and I was able to finally chew through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It tastes like a shitty tater tot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not awful, but it's not what you want when you want tater tots.
Who doesn't have time to cook tater tots?
It's not that you don't have time. It's that you don't want to wait. That's like at least a minute 30, assuming that all the tater tots get, cooked all the way through, which they didn't.
Listen, of the amount of fat things you have said on the show over the few years that we've been doing it, that is beyond the fattest thing that you've ever said.
I will say this. of the things that I've eaten for this show, that was not the worst.
What was?
The Mrs. Freshly's remains to this day the worst.
Yeah, those are definitely really bad. I don't, buy those at the old folks' home that I go to when I deliver pizza.
Oh, come on.
Are you serious?
I mean, not that specific kind, but like the brand. Like they have, oh gosh, what was it? It was like a honey bun type of thing, and I ate that.
So hold on, let me get this straight. You delivered pizza to an old folks' home, saw a vending machine, and instead of going back to where you make fresh pizza, you decided to get old folks' home vending machine.
Yeah, because I have more deliveries back at the store, so I'm not gonna be able to cook a pizza and wait for it to come out.
Although honestly, a vending machine in an old folks' home is probably the most brilliant strategy for a vending machine ever. There's no more those people always have change.
That's true.
Always. So yeah,
And it's really cheap.
Why didn't you just give them half a pizza and convince them that you gave them a full pizza?
Because they'll still call back and complain and be confused, and I'm not getting in trouble again for that. Once is enough.
You got in trouble for stealing pizza?
Allegedly.
Did you?
Did I what? The court has determined that it was inconclusive, so that's all we need to go with that.
Well, then good. You have double jeopardy. You can admit it now. Did you do it?
Apparently, the statute of limitations on pizza theft has not expired yet, so Juxta feels
so when can we find out?
Incriminate himself.
In about 6 years and 9 months.
Jesus.
Someone put it on the calendar. Anyway. All right, so after 30 minutes of that shit, let's figure out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I can't get the taste of raw tater tot out of my mouth.
Well,
that is not
a frozen pizza roll helps with that.
That is not the worst thing you've ever had in your mouth, and you know it.
That's not the worst thing I've had in my mouth this week. Anyway.
Oh boy.
In perhaps the least surprising news I've ever reported on here, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai is now under investigation for corruption. Just a few short weeks after the chairman spearheaded a new set of rules to allow television broadcasters to own more networks, Sinclair Broadcasting announced a $3.9 billion deal to buy Tribune Media. The remarkable turnaround time on such a deal is raising eyebrows within the FCC, and investigation is underway.
Thank you, asshole.
Have you ever been less shocked in your entire life?
Not really.
Like if Eureka sucks, I'll be less shocked.
I don't really know what to say here. Because this is, I think everyone could probably tell from the net neutrality conversation how bought and paid for this guy seems to be.
Yep.
And this is the system, acting the way that it should. This is a system reacting.
You mean someone going like, wait a minute, no way did you organize a $3.9 billion deal in 3 weeks?
Right.
This reeks of corruption.
Yeah.
Maybe we should investigate.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to find out what they find.
The real surprise is going to be whether or not they actually determine if he was or not, because if a headline comes out that, you know what, he's innocent, I don't think anybody's going to believe it, but at the same time, I'll just be like, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Of course he is. Sure.
I wonder who's investigating it. I wonder, who's kind of heading
somebody
that up.
That's eventually going to be asked to step down?
Well, I think they said it's an internal investigation. So it's an FCC investigation.
Yeah.
But does that mean someone at the FCC was like, whoa, absolutely not?
I don't know. I that's the thing. I know a lot about the way that the FCC functions, but this is
we know what'll happen if we start saying words on the air we can't say.
Yeah. It's sort of new ground. I definitely does there need to be an investigation? Yeah, clearly. Clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly. But we'll see.
I'd like to see him get nailed. That would be a nice little cherry on top of one of these weeks.
Well, everyone would kind of like to see that, I think. A man in Sydney, Australia is claiming that the HD rumble on the Switch's Joy-Con controller helped him discover a small but painful tumor in his hand. When playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and specifically when picking up coins, the controller would cause a small spot in his palm to hurt. This led him to see a doctor where, in fact, a tumor was located and is to be removed.
Nintendo, saving lives.
I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Right? I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that is...
That's the HD rumble at work there.
Well, I mean, I think it's an unforeseen benefit of just probably the way that the Joy-Con fits in the hand.
I was gonna,
I mean, you know,
see?
but like, what are the odds that somebody else is going to have a tumor right in that same exact spot? It's not like he took the Joy-Con, put it to his head, and was like, "Oh, there's clearly a tumor in there."
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's
please
not,
don't go shoving your Joy-Con in random places, thinking that the vibration is gonna like in tune with tumors and the frequency will like save you or something.
They say the best way to combat colon cancer is early detection.
I mean,
with
yes.
the Joy-Con.
Well, they don't say that part.
Yeah,
I mean they will.
Could they
Saran wrap it, please?
We do. Yeah, like, put it in a condom or something.
A cucumber Saran wrap.
Cucumber.
Nate,
I just imagine somebody hollowing out a cucumber now to be able to put their Joy-Con in it. To shove up their butt.
What are you doing? Go away. I need a new knife. Get me a cleaner one.
Don't worry about it.
Can Joy-Cons cure prolapses?
Well, I mean, you could probably just wedge it up there and push. It'd probably get it back in place.
Stop. No.
Ask the guy in Japan. I don't know. Or where is it?
China.
China, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Daddy, will you play Dark Souls with a Joy-Con shoved up your butt when it comes on the Switch?
Will you play Dark Souls with your butt is the question.
Yeah.
I mean, Dark Souls has been defeated every other way, right? Like,
we're running low.
You know, like on a DDR pad and upside down, you know, suspended over a tank of sharks with, you know, a rock band guitar.
Yep.
You know, like it's getting kind of hard to. I mean, that's sort of like the last bastion of like I beat it with my ass.
I definitely want the next thing. Like now we're like beating games like
we're all butt healed.
We're all trying to beat things like with ridiculous like controllers and stuff like that. I definitely want the next thing. Like I'm gonna do it while suspended above a tank of sharks, and every death lowers me an inch. It's turning into like a Vegas act.
That is sort of like the natural, like sort of extension of the way that people do Twitch stunts. You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're like a shot for every death, or you know, 4 sit-ups for every death, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So now it's just got to be we got to up the danger level. Oh no, you know, Twitch's policies might not be okay with that.
Yeah, no. They probably would not.
You have to go in. Like,
see, this is why we need an alternative to Twitch, where all things are just. You know,
Shark Tank TV.
Exactly.
That's what we need.
There we go.
Oh no, that's already probably
already
something.
a thing.
Damn.
Well, Shark Tank is
it's a TV show, right?
Yeah, it's a TV show that doesn't involve sharks or tanks.
See, that doesn't seem fair. We should be allowed to use that name for an actual show about shark tanks.
You would think, right?
We gotta talk to our copyright agent.
Sort of. I mean, like basically.
How about if we add an E to the end of shark and tank, so it's like Shark E, Tank E. Well, obviously the E's would be silent because.
Can someone? I know there's probably an aspiring game developer that's listening to this show right now. Can we get a tank character in a game named Shark Tank, and he's just literally a shark?
Oh my
Is he
god!
A tank?
Yeah,
that's his job. Yeah,
right. His class is tank.
He's the tank role.
It's not like maybe he's a tank. I don't know. He could just be a heavy armored shark.
Okay, so it would be like tank as in like heavily armored, tank as in he's like in a like a big like military tank.
You could do
or
both.
A tank like
Both.
a fish tank.
All of them.
All of the above.
He's
So
a heavily
he's
armored dude in a tank. Shark Tank, tank. This is the dumbest show we've ever put out.
What a totally amazing, excellent discovery.
And I don't
remember the first attempt at our Checkpoint podcast this week. I feel like we've just picked up from there, from attempt number 1.
Oh Jesus!
I don't know if we get to blame this on Chris being back or if we get to blame this on Callie.
Both. You cannot
it's a
put
joint effort.
You cannot put me and him in a room together. This is not acceptable.
Because then we get 2 people eating frozen tater tots instead of just one fool.
I truly believed he wouldn't do it, but here's what's wrong with me. The second he did, I had to. Like, I will not be shown up.
Peer pressure is a weird thing.
Yeah,
I
you know,
think.
this actually gives me.
I don't think you were pressured at all, though. I think
no one asked you to do that.
You just wanted to put something in your mouth.
This kind of gives me an idea. Like if he has to eat anything Chris eats, we should just start making Chris eat weird ass things.
I feel like what Chris and I are willing to eat is relatively similar.
Man.
Admittedly, I won't do the pizza roll. I feel like that would be... Because literally, that's just potatoes.
That's way better than tater tots, FYI.
And
really?
Oh, yeah.
And it does say on packaging, at least with Tostitos, that they are pre-cooked.
It does?
Yeah.
You're right.
And so are chicken nuggets, by the way. But
that one I can't do. That. So you said like the texture would be good. I feel like the texture would just be shrimp, effectively, and I hate shrimp.
No.
Really?
Shrimp?
Yeah, I feel like the
I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of shrimp. But no.
What kinds of shrimp are there? There's shrimp.
Well, there's shrimp with like the bread and shrimp that don't have the bread.
We're going to fall into a fucking Bubba Gump shrimp bit here in a second. Can we not?
Fair enough. He hasn't seen that movie.
Have you not seen Forrest Gump?
How have you not seen Forrest Gump?
I was going to say.
Okay.
I was going to be shocked if you hadn't seen Forrest Gump. Is anyone in this room?
Shrimp cobbler, shrimp gumbo.
Okay, all right.
He knows the bit. All right, fine enough. All right, where were we? Yeah,
frozen shrimp.
I'm going to throw this coffee cup at your fucking head.
Cooked shrimp.
You know what? I've got a fart on deck. I will punish everyone.
Oh, it'll
punish Robbie first, so I'm happy with that.
On the screen, do change his name to Juxta Gump, please.
Juxta Gump. I have not eaten frozen shrimp.
Please, just question marks.
We don't even know where it's at anymore. Atari is looking to, quote, optimize assets and the Atari brand. They're doing this through cryptocurrencies?
Oh my gosh.
Atari is developing two cryptocurrencies, one called Atari Coin to use as online payments for movies and games, and the other is called Pong tokens, and they are going to be used on gambling sites and the like. Why?
Because cryptocurrency is like the best thing ever.
Atari, what are you doing?
Atari's out of their fucking mind.
What are you actually doing?
They're out of their fucking mind.
Can someone explain cryptocurrencies to me, please?
Nope.
Not anymore. No.
Okay, because like at first I kind of knew what it was.
Yeah,
like, I was like,
kinda
Bitcoin.
got it.
Okay, I know what that is.
There's so many cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. Why?
Oh yeah. Here, let me.
And now you can trade them like stocks. Like I know we do like Checkpoint, and I should be more up on this, but nothing has put me to sleep faster than understanding blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Well, like you said, when it was just Bitcoin, like I get the concept, but then as you have like crypto kitties, and then I saw a headline about a guy who, as a joke, made a cryptocurrency that's now worth thousands. Like he just made it up, and like it. No.
Yeah.
No, now what is even happening?
Oh, yeah, like cryptocurrency are like the biggest thing right now. Like if you need to buy, let's see, Verge and Ripple. Ripple and Verge are like being in the process of like being backed by Amazon and Walmart. So if you need to buy them right now, they're at point or like, I think like 2 cents right now. If they shoot up to more than $1, you're going to like get like 50 times your investment. It's a great idea.
I'm not sure if I like it now more or less that he does our finances.
What?
Because like literally, like he actually did put some research into that.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, right now Bitcoin is obviously doing well, but Ethereum is actually poised to like go up, even possibly surpassing Ethereum in the next by like January or not January, June or even July.
This is the guy that eats frozen chicken nuggets and tater tots.
Yeah.
Can we get a Mad Money Jim Cramer thing for Juxta?
I mean, he has the drops, dude.
Yeah. For Mad Money, does he?
I mean, Jim Cramer has the big drop. He hits the fucking buttons and shit.
Oh my God.
He's our Jim Cramer. Can you lose more hair? Is that possible?
I could shave my head. Actually, no, I can't because now I have like acne on my head.
Oh.
And
whenever I'm like just playing with my hair, I'll be like, ooh, there's like a bump right there. Hold on, let me scrap it.
Why be tense?
Okay,
says Juxta. You as a human blows my mind.
He is.
That's not the only thing I blew.
So you know how when you're like trying to like say something like you don't want to directly insult someone in the face, so you say you're a very unique individual. He is literally just a very unique individual.
At the beginning of the show, I told everyone that today we're going to take them on a pretty crazy trip because the differences in our topics between the two shows. I had no idea how right I fucking was.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is a roller coaster.
Yeah,
as it always is.
Who's stupid now, bitch? So you didn't explain what is cryptocurrency.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
I think it's like the...
I think. This is a great way to preface that answer.
Yeah. Like, you basically put money into a cryptocurrency, and that has strength and value because you put money into it, and because money is put into it, that means that to other people it is also like has value to it. So then other people put money into it, so that increases the value and the strength.
All right, stop for a second. It's casino chips. You're buying casino chips.
Yeah,
like they have value.
Games with it.
They have but they have value in the context of wherever they are from.
Right.
They have
and as
value
more
because
places
other people
accept
value
them and will take it, they become more valuable.
Right.
So like if Bitcoin was only accepted on one platform, it'd be worth substantially less than if it's accepted everywhere.
Right.
And I think it's a way of in that way you can kind of work around like exchange rates. It has its own exchange rate to it.
So then how do you mine cryptocurrency?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just day trade cryptocurrencies.
There we go. Yeah, it's scaling casino chips. That's effectively what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what I understand about it very practically is that if you have a lot of it, like if you make a lot of money, you know, you have a lot of value in Bitcoin, it can be difficult to actually get the fucking real money back out of it.
Right, because you have to find someone who's willing to buy it. It's like it's the same concept as the stock market.
Yeah.
It only you can only sell your stocks for money if someone will take them.
Right.
So, yeah, but now we have apps and companies that basically will always buy whatever you're selling. So it's actually a lot easier to day trade cryptocurrencies now.
I mean, I don't know.
This market's going to implode.
Yeah, there just seems the minute regulation gets forced on it, it's just going to collapse under the weight of itself.
It's insane. Like I say,
that's so risky. That's so risky.
I don't think I would wager the future on it.
I'll wait for the movie.
No way.
Twitch has announced a new service called Rooms, which will be, as the name suggests, private and public chat rooms that the streamer can set up. The chat rooms can persist even when the streamer isn't present. So we've come full circle. We are literally back to AIM chat rooms. We've made it.
Yay.
What? I was gonna say I noticed on our app here we have stream chat and there's 0 rooms.
We can now make rooms, so we can have a sex chat now.
No,
I mean
we're not going to.
Well, I just said we can.
I mean, if by sex you mean gender, and we're talking about the spectrum of gender, because that seems to be what Twitch wants us to talk about,
and not cucumbers.
Yes, and not
cucumber
fish stick dildos,
cucumber-centric activities.
Yes.
We can have a cucumber chat. Arjun Esper asks ASL, everyone.
I mean,
I think it's kind of a cool idea.
Yes, please.
I guess.
Your bedroom.
I like it as a concept of being able to keep people like engaged doing stuff on your channel without having to be streaming. Because literally, the chat rooms can continue to persist even when you're not there.
Well, the other thing too is that when you get these bigger channels where the chat is an absolute mess.
That too. Okay, yeah. To be able to subdivide your chat, I guess that makes sense.
You can have a subscribers only chat.
Yeah,
without locking out everybody else from spamming emotes.
Exactly.
Spamming racist emotes.
Yeah.
Kind of takes a bit of a chunk out of Discord, though.
That's the first thing that I thought of, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
maybe that's
because a lot of people were going to Discord to kind of make that secondary chat or like a subscriber only chat, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. 12M Australia.
Jesus,
it's the best answer to ASL.
Ugh.
A Sims 4 modder by the name of Philip has been spending the past few months developing a mod to make marijuana. Philip.
Philippe.
One of the two.
Philip.
Yeah, Philip. I like that one.
Thanks.
He's been spending the past few months developing a mod to make marijuana and other drugs usable in Sims 4. The mod, called Base Mental, has been met with, a lot of eagerness from the Sims 4 community. He created a Patreon with a goal of $500 a month to fund his time developing the mod, and he's now over $6,000 a month. So, and I read a little bit about this mod. So, to do it, you have to create a sim with the drug dealer trait. And then drop him into your subdivision, and then your other Sims can go to this guy and buy and use drugs.
What do the drugs do?
I mean, they all have, short-term positive effects and long-term negative ones, I would guess. If you're in the crime law enforcement one, there's an interaction for that. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's a heck of a mod. I imagine EA is going to shut that shit down.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to be able to continue to...
Well, I don't see why.
I mean, you can't...
don't?
Well,
why?
Our mods are totally, acceptable to make for The Sims, right?
Yeah, well, and that's true. And I guess since there is no online real interplay with each other...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
I don't
it
know
would
that
be
they can do anything about it. They might be able to shut his Patreon down.
Yes, they could maybe do that.
Well, it depends on what his Patreon is for. If it's for making mods for Sim 4,
that's true.
Then yeah, shut that
Then
down.
maybe.
But if it's
But
for
if he's just a modder-
general modding community,
That's
Yeah,
true.
maybe they
Then-
can.
That is true. That is true. Man,
That's actually a very interesting question.
I know I'm an interesting person.
Shut up.
I just wonder. I mean, like, that many people are interested in putting drugs into Sims 4?
Does that surprise you?
Not. I mean, 6,000 a month? Like,
Well-
yeah, kind of. Yeah, that does surprise me a little bit.
What surprises me is you said he only had to do the 500. So who comes in and is like, yeah, I want drugs in my Sims. He's already over the goal, so you're going to get your drugs, but you give him money anyway.
Well,
I mean, people come to our Patreon. You're gonna get your drugs anyway, but people still give us $1,400 a month.
Yeah, but we give them content all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, if he's continuing to develop for Base Mental, and
Yeah.
I just don't
continue to
get
work
given
on
money to people.
It's a strange concept that like it's strange that it's latched on that much. But I mean, Skuro said let's cook in the chat. I mean, like, I guess with are you okay back there?
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. It seems, with the popularity of,
Bad.
recreational marijuana,
Sure.
medical marijuana, Breaking Bad, shit like that, then, I mean,
Miri in the chat points out, does Sims still have a criminal path for employment? How does drug dealer really differ from that? I think it differs in that, like, literally, like, buying and using drugs is something you can do in the game. But I get maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's, and we're going to talk about games and their, relationship to guns and violence in a little bit.
Sure are.
But what's weird is that outside of, like, kind of like injectables, games don't really
touch on drug use?
drugs that often.
They don't.
Thematically, they might.
Like, outside of maybe Grand Theft Auto.
Or the like, yeah.
Or the like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You have, like, injectables, as most games will have, like, a steroid or something like that.
Yeah, like a steroid or like plasmids. That's what I was thinking of too. Like a syringe being injected into the arm, fairly common animation type.
Right, but you're right. Like doing a line of coke off some glass, not so common.
I mean, that's even a little bit explicit for GTA. I don't think GTA has even gone that far.
No, GTA, they imply you're doing coke, but they always show them, like, coming up from it. Like,
yeah, you never actually
you never see
it.
Never see him actually inhaling it.
And they animated Michael using the bong. So I do know in 5.
Yeah, they did.
So they're, I mean, at least on marijuana, they're kind of lightening up a little bit.
Is it called marijuana in GTA 5, or is it called something else?
It's probably called like either weed or pot, or I don't know. I can't remember if it was a euphemism. It could be. It could have been something ridiculous like that. But I mean, like, it is weird. Like, is it weird to anyone else that that's a taboo that games don't really seem to want to touch?
Well, it's like Zamfire points out, Sims 4 has mod support, but the sex mod hasn't been banned, so this probably won't be either. And that's true also.
Yeah.
For all the shit we give EA, wow, it is weird that they let that go.
Well, they may not be able to do anything about it legally, from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, they can probably take it off, like, their official modders community, but
Right.
they can't do anything about
it existing. Yeah, it's not like a Pokemon mod where it's just like blanketly Nintendo will send a C&D to any type of Pokemon mod.
Right. That's fascinating, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Good news, Robbie. Shaq Fu sequel officially has a release window. That's right. Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is coming spring 2018.
Yes!
It'll be releasing on PS4, PC, Switch, and Xbox One from Saber Interactive.
And you guys know what's interesting? At EVO this year, there is no Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which means there is an opening on their roster.
No,
There's
there
not.
isn't.
Dragon Ball Fighters took it.
Yeah.
It's all right. There is an opening in their roster.
That's not how tournaments or events work.
Well, you just wait. Once people get their hands on Shaq Fu, take the
gonna
world
throw it
by
away?
storm.
If Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is at EVO, I'll lose my goddamn mind.
What are you gonna do for Robbie if his Shaq Fu becomes the next big fighting game hit?
I'm gonna come over there and kiss him on the mouth.
Suggestively like that. Please don't.
What do you mean? Why do I do that?
Why did you say it suggestively?
Because he wants.
Because I wanted to say it suggestively.
Because he wants to see me give you a blowjob.
I don't want either of those things.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird thing to want to see, though.
Come on, put up or cuck up.
Don't think you're using that right.
even after us telling you what it means, you're still not using it right.
Nope, that's not correct.
I mean, you're essentially saying, let him give me a blowjob or let him give my girlfriend one. Or the equivalent of.
Yeah, come on, put up or cuck up.
Yeah. Those are your two options, buddy.
How do you go from being able to explain cryptocurrency to doing shit like this and eating frozen foods? I don't understand you as a human being on even a fundamental level.
Do you have any pizza rolls, Nate?
He did have like some frozen pasta looking stuff, but that probably wouldn't be too good.
That probably wouldn't.
It's gonna be crunchy pasta. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't have pizza rolls because I'm not.
He's got some cold SpaghettiOs.
I'm not that fat yet.
But you have beefaroni.
Okay, beefaroni is there for a whole different reason. That is more of a signal flare, an SOS than anything else.
I have beefaroni that probably expired a good 2 years ago. So yeah.
Oh,
you should throw that away.
But I like to have botulism just in case. You never know.
Botulism in a can.
You never know when you're going to need it.
I like how it's up there with all your stuffed Pokemon.
Yeah, and the beard.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Beefaroni beard.
Yeah.
That's never going anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's now canon.
I want to jump out the window.
I want you to too. Tutus.
Anyway, back to Shaq Fu, the important part. Why haven't they announced any more characters then? All we know so far is Cyborg Arsenio Hall. And obviously Shaq will be in it too.
Maybe because there's only going to be 2 characters.
It's not really much of a fighting game.
It's going to be Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird all over again.
Yes. It's just a one-on-one fighting game.
Come on, Nate really wants to play as normal-sized Gary Oldman.
That would be a great character.
He took Miracle Growth and he's just normal-sized now.
You can get
it's Gary Coleman, not Gary Oldman, but that's all right. Gary Oldman's a completely different guy.
Yeah,
what would Gary Oldman be then?
I mean,
God, he's so old.
I want 80s Michael Jackson and then DLC 90s Michael Jackson.
No, but there has to be a sci-fi element to them. So you can't just like pluck Michael Jordan out of the 80s. Like what about him is being enhanced? We're talking about metas here, okay?
All right, I want Space Jam Michael Jordan.
All right, fair.
Yes.
You can have Space Jam Michael Jordan.
He could be like a summoner type where he summons like the Looney Tunes to help fight for him.
That is great. Oh, better yet, he has the device that takes people's powers, and that's what he does.
Basketball?
So he's like a Shang Tsung where he like copies the other person.
Exactly. Yep, that's right.
Oh my God. Yes, I want the magic basketball that steals people's talent.
Yep. He's like he will be the ditto of Shaq Fu.
Oh,
good. Can I tell you guys at my school the way that they pronounced Shang Tsung was Shang Tu Sung?
No.
Entire school. Entire fucking school.
Did you beat anybody up for it?
I mean, we had Shang Tsung versus Shang Tsung.
I was probably saying it too. I'm just that's literally I didn't know. The entire environment that I was surrounded by was Shang Tu Sung.
This was pre-Weeb. Guys, this was pre-Weeb. You had nobody around to correct you.
No, but didn't they have voice acting on the Mortal Kombat 1?
Probably.
Versus Kano.
Yeah,
right? That was a thing.
You couldn't pick Shang Tsung in the first one. He was an unlockable.
Yeah, but it was
a
versus Goro. Versus Shang
None
Tsung.
of us were good enough at Mortal Kombat to figure it out.
Oh my God, you scrubs!
Yeah,
Raiden wins. Oh, that's right. They did. Yeah.
Arto Frito-Lay.
Was that
was Raiden?
Was that waffle Frito-Lay you just said?
Arto Frito-Lay.
Oh my God.
Arto Frito-Lay.
Arto Frito-Lay. Oh my God, that is exactly what it is. You're right.
It all comes back down to food, man.
It's like when you realize that Blue Moon ice cream tastes like Fruit Loops. You're like, oh my God, that is what it is. It's weird.
Just saying. It's a weird memory to come flashing back right now, but I just remember an entire gang of kids saying Shang Tu Sung.
Shang Tu Sung.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's how I pronounced it too when I read it in the guidebook. I'm like, Shang Tu Sung?
Sung.
How do you it's a typo. It's supposed to be sung.
Shang Tsung. Yeah. In a story that proves unequivocally that Variety has no business participating in games journalism, they've posted a story asking if California is losing its stranglehold on the gaming industry. Even though California controls 27% of the game development industry, which is more than the next 4 states combined, the article points out that the deficit has shrunk over the past decade. I was so angry reading this story where I'm just like, this isn't even news.
No, it's not.
And I'm only reporting on it so I can be angry at Variety on the air.
I can't believe that they wasted somebody's time making them type this up.
I mean, it's a question. Is California losing? It's not has it lost, but are they in the process of losing its stranglehold? That's a fair question.
But it's like when people were like, oh no, Michigan's getting involved in movie making. Is California losing its stranglehold on the movie development industry?
Yeah, no,
they're not.
Well, we know that now.
We knew that then.
Did we though? Because Michigan was getting involved with it. It could have been. It could have been the new auto industry, man.
Yeah,
it could have.
Sure, it could have.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
It's so sad. Every one of my friends that decided to go pick up a camera and be in the film industry.
I'm going to make my living as an extra on all these movies we're having.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Stop
Absolutely
it.
not.
It's not happening.
What a waste of your life.
Yeah, like I don't even know what to think about this. Like it's such. First of all, why even bother asking the question? You know, like is the observation that there are more indie game studios, there are more opportunities outside of just California to be able to jumpstart your career in video games? Yeah, there are. But like that doesn't mean that, you know, like
that California's losing its grip on the industry.
Yeah, who's gonna? If that were to happen, it would mean that some of the largest developers would have to pick up and leave California.
Yeah, when Silicon Valley starts seeing people on the way out, then I might start taking that seriously.
Give me a fucking break, man.
It was.
I mean, is Blizzard going to move their headquarters to Michigan? That's a worthy question to ask. Let's ask Variety. The answer is no.
Anything's possible.
And yeah, you don't know. Do you know the future, Daddy? I know I'm in your bedroom later, but besides that, no, we don't know.
Short of a catastrophic earthquake that levels most of the state.
Short of the big one, making California an island.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, dude. I just don't see it happening.
God, even if an earthquake did happen and California became an island, it would just be a more successful country.
Well, it wouldn't move anywhere either, just because of how tectonic plates work. It'd just be like a river separating the rest of the United States. Do you guys not pay attention in high school geometry?
Geometry?
That is not geometry. That was geology.
Geography?
Geology.
Go eat more frozen foods. Just until you get salmonella and...
Well, you don't eat the raw ones. You eat the cooked ones.
We've gone from cucumbers to frozen foods to cryptocurrency, back to him being an idiot again. I don't even remember what about this time. And now back to him knowing what plate tectonics are.
But he kind of, I feel like, cancels it out when he's like, geometry.
Yeah,
it's simple geometry.
It's not. It isn't.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Hashtag.
Oh my God. Just move on.
Yeah. As Black Panther takes the world by storm, it's fun to look back and remember that Sony once had a chance to buy the rights to all of Marvel's movies. Over 20 years ago, Sony was given the opportunity to buy the rights to every character in the Avengers for only $25 million.
Yep. That's
got to be a tough pill to look back on and swallow.
Yeah. Okay, but they wouldn't be worth $25 million back then.
It's true. They would have screwed them all up.
Exactly. Yeah. They would have continued to make movies a la Daredevil. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the original Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Sure do.
What else did they do? Spider-Man? Wasn't that them?
Sony?
Yeah.
Sony's the only thing, or Spider-Man's the only thing that they did do, right? That Sony has. Yeah.
Because Fox got X-Men, right?
Well, yes.
Fox had X-Men and Fantastic Four, which is now back under Disney's purview.
Right, yep.
And so Spider-Man was the only thing that they picked up?
Yep.
Oh,
I feel like that's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good property if you're going to take something from Marvel.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not a bad one.
Yeah. I mean...
I still feel like my favorite, shoulda, coulda, woulda story was when Activision could have got Blizzard for $10,000.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough one to swallow because they would have actually gotten the development studio, so they would have gotten those games.
Yep. Yeah,
but no, they thought they were a one-hit wonder.
And like the thing is, people forget that, that big bankruptcy of Marvel where they were trying to sell off all of their properties.
The great comic book crash.
Yeah.
Really is what it was.
That really was what set the stage for the existing Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it would have been a massively different story if even, the Disney-led MCU eventually had a different cast of characters to work with. You know what I mean? Like, if they had access to X-Men and Spider-Man, they probably...
They're A-listers, basically.
Yeah, they probably would have executed those first before starting...
Iron Man?
Yeah, before starting to build towards...
Well, yeah, because
things like Civil War and...
The Avengers.
See, people nowadays look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow. Those are like household names. Those are A-listers now. Back
They were
then,
B names.
when they were just the Avengers,
If B.
some of them were Hawkeye. Hawkeye was not even a B. Hawkeye was a C.
Yeah.
Maybe a high D.
Captain America was their biggest in there.
Yeah.
And no one else.
Yeah.
Like, the Hulk was okay.
And even Captain
Iron Man,
America.
no.
Dude, I remember, growing up, and I inherited a lot of my comics from my cousin, and he had a lot of Iron Man in there, and I just fucking was so bored by Iron Man.
He wasn't interesting.
He was not even on my B tier. He was on my C tier. And I mean, like, I had no affinity for the Avengers. They just seemed like a cadre of the B squad.
To me, they were B-list X-Men.
Yeah.
That's what that group was.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not mutants. They're just all people who have powers. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, it's definitely interesting to think what could have been, if things had wound up a little bit differently. But I do think that, much like Disney acquired the right to the Fox library, that as soon as they're able to get exclusive rights back over for Spider-Man, that they're going to.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
but don't worry, we're going to get a Venom movie before then.
Well, here's my question, and Robbie, you may know a little bit more about this because I just don't know exactly what the layout is. Now that Sony and Disney are working together, they did Spider-Man: Homecoming. Does Disney actually have a say in the way that Spider-Man is done on the Sony brand? Like,
I don't know that they have ever actually released any kind of official statement as to what the deal entails.
I would think that they would have to.
My guess is they do. I don't think they'd let them be part of the MCU if they didn't.
Exactly.
Because you're effectively giving Disney or Sony license to...
It's still really confusing and murky because remember there was the one point where both Kevin Feige and Amy, I don't remember her last name.
Isn't it Kevin Feige?
Feige, whatever. Feige, however the fuck he pronounces it. Him and the person that's basically in charge of the Sony division were in a interview once, and they asked, so does this mean that the Sony Spider-Man and Marvel movies are now in the MCU? And she said, oh yes, absolutely. And Kevin makes this face that is just like, somebody shoot me now. So, and I don't think that was ever necessarily walked back or not. What I remember there being is that they were going to work on Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 together, that Marvel is the one making it, and that Sony still basically gets overall say because it is their property, but, that was what went into the deal. And when it comes to Spider-Man 3 or anything thereafter, that's just all reverting back to Sony. So, honestly, one of the fears that I've had right from the very beginning is that Sony is going to start to taint and slowly tear down the MCU. Whether on purpose or not, I have no idea. But
no, I would think that, because listen, Disney, in terms of lawyer power and knowing exactly what they're going to sign, I feel like Disney's really got a strong handle on that, and they really wouldn't open themselves up in that way.
Yeah, and also, by the way, to your question earlier before the show, yes, Tom Hardy is playing Eddie Brock.
Is he?
Yep.
Okay. Well, because we did know that the Venom movie is based off of Agent Venom,
right?
And that's not Eddie Brock. I can't remember what the character in Agent Venom, what his name is.
Don't remember that story.
But it's where Venom is more mercenary than
right. Yeah, I remember the concept.
All right. Okay. Yeah. And so it led me to wonder if Tom Hardy was actually playing Eddie Brock, but apparently he is. So
this girl really wants Maximum Carnage to be announced after Venom.
Flash Thompson, by the way, was Agent Venom.
Would you like to have a Carnage movie after the Venom movie?
No.
Carnage is already the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Woody Harrelson is playing Cletus Kasady.
How awesome is that?
I mean, I don't think that's the right pairing. I mean, listen, I like Woody Harrelson a lot. And I mean, Natural Born Killers is one of my all-time favorite movies. He can play psychotic very well.
Yeah.
I think he's too old.
Yeah.
For Cletus specifically. Dude, Cletus, there are two things I remember about Cletus Kasady. He was younger than Venom and therefore faster and more vicious, and that fucking red hair. Those were the two things that I remember about him. And I just think that, just get someone young with what's the Ron Weasley kid doing? See if he can play a psycho. I don't know. But think about that. But think about this. I mean, I haven't actually put any thought into it, but I think the most disturbing part of psychosis is how normal the person can seem right up until the point that they break, right? And I think that kid, I don't even remember his name, the kid who played Ron Weasley,
Rupert Grint.
He might be able to pull that off, where he seems like a normal dude who has this very psychotic side to him. You know what I mean?
Usually they don't show Cletus's normal side, though.
He is a straight. But I mean, they're taking liberties with it. So what the fuck?
Yeah, in the comics where Carnage first met with him, he was already in prison, right?
Oh yeah. Dude, he's
He's on death row, isn't
you're
he?
talking about when the symbiote meets him.
Yeah, when he meets up with the Carnage
he's
symbiote.
straight up in the Hannibal Lecter getup.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had that comic. The first appearance of Carnage.
Nice.
I had a couple of first appearances that were and I never really got into comic book collecting, but I had Gambit's first appearance, I had Venom's first appearance, although it wasn't.
That's an expensive book today.
But it wasn't issue 200. It was the one that broke the story up in between. I want to say it was in an X-Men anthology.
Oh yeah.
It's like Children of the Atom. I want to say it was a few
his
books.
first appearance as the symbiote, right?
Right.
Not his first appearance as Eddie Brock.
Correct.
Yeah.
It basically tells the story of Eddie Brock and how he came to find the symbiote.
I think that's still an expensive book today.
Well, it was broken up across I think 3 books.
Yeah.
So that was the other one that I had because I could never afford. It was 200. That was his first appearance.
300.
300.
300.
And then the other one was Carnage first appearance. Those were the kind of 3 big books for me.
Those are all really good books to have, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, Gambit has been really bouncing up and down with because anytime
Gambit's on the outs, man.
Anytime they announce him for a movie, it goes up a bit. But it was like the first appearance of Harley Quinn. That book jumped to $700.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's in a Batman animated adventures. By the way, that's her first appearance.
See, I know about cryptocurrencies. Joe over here knows about comic book cryptocurrencies.
It's Callie, and I work in a comic shop.
I don't know
what do you
the
want from
fuck
me?
your name is.
I've been
Callie, Joe, the other one.
The other one? Escalia?
Escalia, that's it. Jesus.
I forgot Joe the other day on the Checkpoint podcast.
Yes.
Well, if you're going to forget one, I prefer it to be that one, so that's fine. A fascinating report from the anti-cheat software BattleEye has revealed just where the bulk of PUBG's cheating problem is coming from. It turns out that China is the main culprit. While the country holds 46% of the PUBG player base, they also account for a staggering 99% of all banned cheating accounts.
Dang.
And as a reminder, competitive PUBG does return to I Am Katowice, so...
Dang.
I don't know.
This is a racist story, and I don't approve of it.
That's a huge percentage, though.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's the BattleEye cheating report. So, is it 100% accurate? No, but it has an idea.
I would say that it's probably fair to say that a disproportionate amount of the PUBG hackers are coming from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a terrifying amount.
It's a lot of people.
I don't like. Like, you know how usually
But-
China's on separated servers from everybody else?
That's why.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's one of the reasons why. But yeah, that's terrifying to me. Following the events of Parkland, Florida last week, it is clearly still too soon to discuss the nation's gun problem. However, according to Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin, it is time to discuss whether video games and violent movies are turning our children into murderers. That standpoint, to be fair, has been met with overwhelming backlash from just about anybody who isn't related to the NRA. And I'm sorry I couldn't handle that story more professionally, but good God, go fuck yourself.
And we get to today's discussion topic because it's not too soon,
by the way,
to talk about guns.
That was my 7th rewrite of that article.
Yeah.
And everyone, I promise, got a little bit more professional. But the first one, the word pedophile appeared in there. Let's see. I think oh no, I'm sorry. The first one was like, "This country's dumb. Go fuck yourself." That was my first draft at that article.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm not happy.
I don't think anyone's terribly happy.
No.
So listen, we of course have open phone lines. If you want to give us a call, 810-207-1764, Final Encountercast on Skype. You can also, if you want to use Discord to call in, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Let's talk about guns, because apparently it's too soon.
I thought it was too soon.
It's not too soon.
No. Here's
now is the right time to talk about
Well,
guns.
to be fair, back when Sandy Hook happened, that was the right time to talk about it.
Well, long before that. I mean, probably Columbine was maybe the right time to talk about it, but here's the thing.
I don't know. If we really want to rewind the clock, Texas State University.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You're right.
You know, like, I mean, dude, this has been going on for a long fucking time.
Here's the thing. If someone says it's too soon, say, great, I want to talk about guns in relation to the Vegas shooting. Or anything else.
You're right.
It doesn't have to be in relation to this. There's plenty of other good reasons to talk about guns.
Yep.
So,
we got a problem.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
We have a problem with guns and the proliferation of guns. Now, and let me preface this by saying I like guns. I don't have a problem with guns. I don't have a problem with people owning guns. That is not my problem, okay? I do have a problem with the proliferation of things like assault weapons and automatic weapons, or things that can turn assault weapons into automatic weapons.
Yeah.
We all know how easy it is to get attachments and how modular all of these goddamn things are. We know because we fucking put them together digitally all the time.
Yep. It's not hard.
It's not hard. Yeah. It's, and the thing about this is and the thing that drives me fucking crazy is that, I know a lot of people in Michigan involved with the medical marijuana industry.
Sure.
And they're going through a very tough, painful period right now because the laws of the state are changing, and the way that they were previously written, there were no real standing laws about the way that, or even the places that dispensaries could or couldn't open. And it was sort of like, because there were no rules, law enforcement didn't know what to enforce or what not to enforce. Places were getting raided. Cities were voting them out of their, out of their business districts entirely. And so, while the licensing process has been very difficult, very costly, and very trying for all of the people that I know have been involved in it, they're all saying the same thing, that it's totally necessary. This is what we've needed from the word go. I'm going to cross every T and dot every I, and my business is going to be a legal business in this state.
Yeah.
The amount of hoops that they're making these people jump through so that sick people can get access to organic medicine are insane, but they are also necessary.
Because of the other half of what that industry is.
Correct.
There is a good use for it, but you can't just look away and ignore the fact that there is a large criminal use for it, too.
Correct. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who get on the program erroneously just so they can get access to pot. And we can talk about recreational pot all day long if we want to. I'm a big supporter of that. I wouldn't care if recreational pot was made legal tomorrow. Okay, but the point is that this is a medical industry, and it's being treated now as a medical industry within the state of Michigan. And the amount, like I said, the amount of hoops that these people have to jump through, there's a lot of them, and they seem like a lot. But
if you were trying to open a pharmacy,
if you're trying to open up a gun shop,
yeah.
Are you put through the same amount of fucking scrutiny? I don't know. But with the amount of gun shops that are open in this fucking country, and even in this state, tells me probably not. Now, the thing is I don't know about gun licensing or what you need to do to license yourself to be able to sell firearms, and I'm sure that the majority of people who sell firearms do it legally. But there are far too many loopholes, like gun show loopholes and trade loopholes, that people can do to be able to get around that.
Yeah, one of the most...
These are the problems that people are talking about when they're talking about enacting gun control. They're not talking about coming and taking your guns. They're talking about making it difficult to sell a gun, because it should be as difficult, if not more difficult, to sell a gun than it is to sell weed.
Yeah, except the NRA doesn't agree with that.
Of course they don't.
At all. In fact, one of the most mind-boggling interviews that I had saw once, and it did include Stephen Colbert was talking to somebody from the NRA. He gave him a red sign. He's like, I'm going to say something, right? And if you feel like this infringes upon your rights, I want you to hold the sign up.
I think Thor tagged me in that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, he mentioned stuff like, all right, background checks. Nope, that infringes. Oh, okay. You have to take a test or some type of course. Nope, that infringes. Oh, okay.
24-hour waiting period.
24-hour waiting period. Nope, infringes. 1 hour waiting period. No, that infringes upon my rights too. Did you know that if the government places somebody in the no-fly list because they have possible terrorist connections, they can still go buy as many guns as they want from wherever they want?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Did you know that the CDC isn't allowed to study gun violence and like what causes it? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. The NRA says no to all of that stuff because it could end up turning into they want to take your guns away.
Well, and the reason that the NRA is involved in that is because listen, they give money away to politicians left and right. I'm not looking at a side of the aisle either. Democrats take NRA money just as much as Republicans do.
Well, and that's the thing, like this on its face really shouldn't be a wholly political discussion. This is one aspect of how you want to live your life.
I mean, I think if we really drill down here, that there is a discussion to be had about money in politics and the way that money wields influence in politics.
It's horrifying. Look at the FCC. We just talked about that.
FCC, FTC. Look at the way that campaign finance and
super
PACs. All of these things have listen, when you have somebody paying your bills and supporting your lifestyle, you are automatically going to be more sympathetic to what their agenda is. No, because you know that the minute that you question it or that you come out publicly against it, that flow of income is going to stop.
Well, and in some cases, it's not even necessarily sympathetic. I remember in an article several months ago, there was a student-led group that was composed of LGBT students that wanted to meet with a senator, and they straight up were like, no, we don't represent you. And the kids are like, well, you're our state
senator. Yes, you do.
Yeah. You literally
yes,
do.
Yes, you do.
We are your constituents.
Yeah, and they just they didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. Didn't agree with that. Like this idea of two sides, teams in some people's minds is so definite and like it's.
But here,
I don't have words for it.
But to Nate's point about money and politics, that's where going back to the whole idea of is it too soon to talk about this becomes so ridiculous.
Yeah.
After 9/11, the war on terror began 5 days after that.
Yep.
It wasn't too soon to have the conversation. And guess what? People were still able to grieve and mourn the loss while, the country did something besides sit on its balls. Now, whether you're, pro-war on terror or whatever, either way, something at least happened.
Who's that Tommy Lauren chick or whatever? Tommy
Lauren.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Posted on Twitter, it's too soon. Give the family 24 hours to grieve at least. And one of the kids who was stuck in a closet was like, No.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah,
No.
literally.
I'm a school kid. I want to be safe in my school.
That's what it is. You know it's fucked up when kids across the country now are organizing a walkout of their school.
Yeah,
because you can't
boycotting
keep
school.
You cannot keep us safe, so we're not going to school.
Yeah, and
more power to them.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go another day.
I would encourage that, if you're a high school student and you hear about a planned walkout,
get involved.
Get involved, or if you don't have one, organize one.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's
even if
it is April 20th that's happening. I think
so. Yeah, that which by the way, that's the anniversary of the Columbine shooting.
Okay. I was going straight for 420.
Yeah, no, it is the anniversary.
Fair
well,
enough.
It's also Hitler's birthday, which was why the Columbine kids chose it as the day that they.
Jesus.
After a lot of the shootings and whatnot that happened last year, I was getting to a point where I'm like, can it actually get any worse? And some of the things that I've recently been seeing, like for example, the fact that there were kids here who were being counseled on Twitter by other kids who have been through this type of thing. Like living through a school shooting is just normal in America now. Or there was another, it was an older article from, I think, back when Columbine had happened, that when parents were calling their kids, there were dead kids whose phones were ringing in their pockets.
Yeah.
And they weren't allowed, like the people dealing with the bodies weren't allowed to answer them. Like that.
It's a crime scene.
Well,
but there's parents, like that whole image just freaks the shit out of me. There's people out there that are just like, no, don't take my guns. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of really bad responses to, the criticisms or call for gun control. One of the statistics that I saw was a map of the 18 shootings, school shootings that have happened since 2018. And it seems like the best defense that people have against that factoid is, technically those don't all qualify.
Not all of those are real school shootings.
Right, yeah.
All right, first
arguing
of all,
over the definition of what a school shooting is.
Well, here's the point. One is too many. So.
One discharge. If there was a firearm on a school premise that was discharged accidentally or not, that means that there is still the possibility in the future that somebody could come and it could be a mass shooting. You should never, ever think to yourself, oh, well, that wasn't a mass shooting, so it's not the problem. All right? There only has to be one death somewhere. And if you ever look at somewhere and goes, oh, well, it was only 20. Oh, well, it wasn't over 100.
Oh, well, no one got hurt.
If it was one person and it was your mother, your father, brother, or sister, would you take from someone, well, it was just one person? No. Because no, that ain't going to do fucking shit for you.
Yeah. Let's 810-207-1764, the number to call. Final Encountercast on Skype, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If you want to chime in, let's go to our phone lines and talk to Fi on Discord. What's going on, Fi?
Hey, how's it going, Nate and crew?
What's happening?
So I just want to talk about my experiences in the Navy.
Okay,
sure. So I was in the Navy for like the last 7 years, and you know how many mass shootings there were in the last 7 years?
Yeah.
And when you're spending time on watch, and you're talking, I consider myself really liberal, really thinking about joining the DSA. And I talked to a lot of people who are on the conservative spectrum. And these people don't care. These people consider their right to own a gun above anything above anything that you would consider.
Yeah.
Any idea you come with, they will shoot it down. Any debate you have, they will shoot it down.
Yeah,
people cannot be reasoned,
and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what the body count is. It doesn't matter how young the victims are. I mean, you would have thought that after honestly, Newtown. Like, you would have thought after Newtown that something would have been able to be done. Or after Las Vegas on bump stocks. Nothing has even been done about bump stocks.
The closest we got to a gun law was after the Pulse shooting. And that's because they could use racism as a factor, because the Democrats bought into a no-fly, no-buy, which is a stupid fucking law. No one should support that, because all it does is it allows the FBI to be like, oh, we, fucking just put you on a list. And now you can't buy guns.
Right.
That's fucking dumb. That's fucking racist as shit. That should not be allowed. But Democrats fucking sat in on that. They had a sleepover. and they fucking, shook their little coin can to get money, and still nothing happened.
Can I ask, you said you're Navy. You've used a variety of weapons, right?
No, I was a electronics technician.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
I did shoot an AR-15 with a friend at a gun range once.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot an AR-15 before, too.
I've shot an Uzi before in Las Vegas.
Right, but what I'm trying to gather is there any need for personal ownership of an AR-15 versus a pistol?
I mean...
The thing is it depends on your state's laws, because in Texas, if someone comes to my house, I have the right to shoot them.
Right, I mean more though. Is there
in sort of a practical sense? Yeah.
If I go chase someone out of my house because let's say they stole my Xbox,
sure,
and I shoot them and I gun them down,
I think a lot of it is predicated on whether or not you believe the total collapse of society is coming. Like, if you think that you're going to have to defend yourself from zombies, and by the way, I've met enough people who actually genuinely believe that, to the point where they invest in shotguns and weapons and bug-out bags.
That's like Watch Station 101. Every watch station in the Navy has a plan for a zombie apocalypse.
God, that's fucking bizarre. That's bizarre.
And this is kind of my thing.
When you spend 4 hours staring at a screen that doesn't move, you talk about a lot of bullshit.
And this is kind of my thing. I'm against personal gun ownership, and I have been for a while. I don't. And by the way, I know people like to go shoot. I'm not against being able to go to a range, rent a rifle, and shoot at targets.
Yeah,
I'm not against that.
Right.
And if you're working as, I'm a security guard for an armored car. Yes, you should have to go through the proper training and licensing to carry a gun while you're on shift at work.
Yeah,
sure, I'm okay with that. But I don't believe that anyone should just be able to have a gun at home.
The issue I have right now is if because like one of the websites I've been going to a lot is 538, because they have they profile each congressman, right, every senator, and they do a profile of what their state, the margin their state voted for Trump, and how often they vote in line with Trump's policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you graph this, you see every Republican has a 80 to 90% in line with Trump, with Trump's policy.
Yeah.
If you look at the Democratic side, they're anywhere between 5% to 70%. So the issue right now is, like, we cannot have this debate because the people in charge will not allow this debate to happen.
Right. Well, that's
part of it.
That's always been the case.
Change, can't vote for the Republican Party.
Well,
because the Republican Party is the party of Trump. They are one and the same. You cannot vote them. You have to beat them. Once we beat them, then we can have this debate, and hopefully, we have enough control within the Democratic Party, because it'll be like fucking 2009 all over again with Medicare for all, right? Because the Democratic Party had a supermajority in Congress.
But this is always the problem with Democrats, though, is that when they have power, they waver. They're not, like
because
Republicans.
The Democratic Party, the spectrum includes the far left.
Yes.
To socially liberal, fucking fiscally conservative people.
Right.
It's a wide range. So there is going to be a Joe Lieberman in there who's going to fuck everything up.
Yeah, there's a wider. It's a wider tent. Yeah, no, it's definitely a wider tent for sure.
But the thing is we cannot even have this debate right now with the Republican Party.
Well,
we cannot.
But we as a show have to have this debate.
Well, I mean, not even. I think we as a country need to be able to continue the dialogue.
But these people will not be convinced.
Oh no!
That's why I'm saying my time in the Navy. I have been able to talk to these people, and every mass shooting, the debate comes up because we're sitting on our asses 4 hours a day, looking at a screen that does nothing. We talk about shit, and these people will not move. They will not budge. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what concessions you make. It doesn't matter what you say. No matter what you do, they will not budge. These people need to be beaten at the polls.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with the sentiment, but I think that, especially in the wake of large-scale tragedies like this, that the narrative, that the discussion has to continue, and that's what when we talk about the the victims that have been so outspoken on this issue. I mean, the kids that go to Parkland have just been so articulate.
Yeah.
And you know, not just kids from Parkland, but just, you know, kids of that age, high school age, that are concerned about the environment that they have to go and live in every day. I think that those are important voices to be listened to, especially right now, especially in this debate.
I'm not sure what it is about this time, but this time has felt different both for me and I feel like in the general sentiment of people. You know, even after Vegas and Sandy Hook and all those, sure, it was a big deal. You know, people were upset and pissed and all that. But there is such an attitude of enough this time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is more pervasive with people just being like, we're done with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Fi, thanks for the call. Appreciate hearing from you. If you want to call in, 810-207-1764. Finally, Countercast on Skype. Discord.com/Limit Break Radio if you want to call in on Discord. And I think, you know, there is a second component to this, and I think that this is one that the gun advocates like to bring up a lot. But, you know, as with many things, two things can be true at once. I do think that this country has a problem with guns.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I do also think that this country has a problem with mental health as well.
Yes.
And the way that mental health is administered.
Sure.
And, you know, I do think that that's something that does need to be discussed. And you know, I talked about it on this very program. I'm going to go over it again. But, you know, a couple of months ago, maybe 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, the psychologist that I had seen for the better part of 10 years dismissed me from his office because I got frustrated with a billing issue. Now, they don't have a billing department. He is the billing department. He runs his own practice, and he answers every question. And I told the front office as I was coming in, hey, I've got to be out by a certain time. I don't know what because I call, it's a 45-minute drive for me to get there. I call before every appointment to see if they're behind or not, because usually it's butting up against work. So they kept me waiting for the better part of an hour, and I got agitated and I got frustrated. By the way, this is on a Thursday, after a checkpoint that had kept me up till 6 o'clock to edit. So I had zero sleep.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to work through the issue, someone that he had known for 10 years and had exhibited signs of depression and had exhibited signs of, and had come in seeking treatment for sleeplessness and anxiety, then I was suffering from both of those things at that time.
Right.
And instead of doing anything about it, he showed me the door. Because in this day and age, if you get loud, people get scared. And he couldn't have people in his front office getting scared because I didn't want to get charged $120 erroneously.
Right.
Now, that to me says that there is a problem. There is a serious problem with mental health professionals that when someone comes in exhibiting signs of a problem, instead of trying to get them help, they show them the door. I have heard that story told again and again and again and again.
And I think a lot of what that extends from, too, is that insurance is awful about mental health issues.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm. It is finding a insurance provider that will cover any kind of preventative therapy or mental health stuff is a pain in the ass. And so when people are going to try to get help and they can't because there's an insurance problem, it's immensely frustrating.
Yeah.
And like it breeds these kind of issues a lot of the time. I don't like the idea of pointing, you know, these kinds of issues onto mental health because you're talking out both sides of your face. Because on the other side of your face, you're like, well, we're going to cut the budget for mental health programs in this country. Go to hell.
In terms of the people controlling budgets for those kinds of things, yeah. No, I agree.
If you're going to try to put this problem solely on mental health in this country, you better fucking champion the cause of improving mental health issues in this country.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, ever since Reagan closed a lot of the asylums instead of trying to improve them, you know, we've had a big problem with the amount of homeless and mental illness correlating with the amount of homeless. There's no place to put these people. And then you send them back out into the world knowing that they have problems, but, medicated and somewhat supervised.
Yeah. But
this is who thinks that this is sustainable?
Oh, it's not.
It's absolutely unsustainable.
But at the same, like always, no one's going to do anything about it until the problem has become so overwhelming that there's not a great solution anymore. And I mean, is there ever a great solution to mental health? Probably not. Not for a country this size, but there are things you can do. That doesn't mean you do nothing.
Yeah. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Zamfir. Zamfir, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? It's going pretty good for me.
What's up?
So I'm going to talk about how do we enforce the gun law? Like, if we start restricting AR, like, let's just say the AR-15. If we start banning that gun, what about all the ones that are already out in the public? How are we going to take those?
You do what Australia did, and you take them and you put them in a big fucking pile with a crane and you destroy them.
America won't do that. Like, who's going to take...
No, because the gun industry makes too much fucking money.
I mean, who's going to take it from the actual civilian? A cop with a gun? So they're going to use guns to take guns because the guns are going to hurt people, but people don't give them
a professional who's professionally trained to use a gun who is enforcing the law? Yeah.
It's not going to end well at all.
Really?
Like, especially in small towns like mine, the cops can get shot.
So it's already
the cop's gonna die.
It's already not going well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed.
Well, I know. But
offer incentives.
I live in Detroit, where cops are getting shot at an alarming rate already. How do you fix that fucking problem?
There is no real good fix to it.
Oh, okay. So just do nothing.
I'm not saying do nothing, but how are we going to take the guns without killing all of our cops?
We're not even saying that you have to take all of the guns. Look,
then what are the gun restrictions going to do?
I saw a post the other day that said, you know what? When someone does something with a car, you don't blame the car. No, but you know what? You also have to go through classes and register for a car. If I wanted to right now, if I wanted to right now to go and buy a gun, take $200 out of my account and do it, I could. In 30 minutes, I could have a gun. I've never owned a gun before, and in 30 minutes, I could have one. You don't think that's messed up?
What? I don't think that's even true at all, but you still need I'm not saying we shouldn't have more, a waiting period, a better background check. We should definitely have those, obviously. But
again, let's go back to my comparison with the way that weed is currently being regulated, and that regulation is being sorted out. It's not that weed didn't exist before regulation, legalization, or medicalization. It did exist, but there are ways to be able to control and track the sale and the distribution of guns the same way. They're not doing a good enough job.
Well, yeah, no, but
they need stricter regulation, and those that
from the citizens. That's my concern. Like, if it's a gun that's not banned, we can't, America can't afford to buy off every AR-15.
Okay, all right.
We can't afford that.
So what you're doing is you're quibbling on a point that no one can answer. No one has a good plan for that. But it is a preface to say, well, then we have to keep the status quo. And that's the conclusion that I reject.
Well, and here's the thing too is, and I heard someone talking about this on the news the other night. You're very right in the idea that almost nothing we do will fix this problem in our generation, but it might be something that you fix in the next generation or the one after that. Because if we say restrict sales of AR-15s, well, if that's not as nearly as profitable a business, the parts become harder to find. And over time, parts that need to be replaced and whatnot do start to break down. And you have things like when someone owns a musket today. How many people own a functional musket? Plenty of people own one that's just decorative, but you couldn't actually shoot it.
Right.
It's something that you could fix over a course of 70 years. And you know what? It sucks that it would take 70 years to fix it.
It's hard.
But
no one is saying that this is easy. No one is saying that this is easy. But to do nothing or to imply that nothing can be done because it's difficult is disingenuous.
What I think the problem is it's not just gun control. It's the school system's also fucked. That's why there's so many school shootings.
I agree with that.
Most of them happen in public school, not private schools run by actual people.
Okay. Here's the whole thing. I totally agree, Zamfir. I totally agree. The public school system in this country is totally fucked up. It is a mess. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think we should make guns way harder to get. You should not be able to, like, if you're like schizophrenic, you should never be able to own a gun. Obviously, like, it's shit like that. You should not be able to own a gun.
Well, and I mean now
crazy shit can happen to you. But I know people who like that who killed themselves because they got a gun.
Here's the thing, though. If you're going to make schizophrenia, something, okay, great. Anyone who's schizophrenic cannot get a gun. But isn't it like 80% of schizophrenics go undiagnosed?
Yeah,
it's an unrealistically high amount.
Yeah. And listen, there and just enacting. Listen, I'm not saying that there needs to be reactive gun control laws that are draconian or ridiculous either. I just think that the discussion needs to happen, and I get a bit incensed when someone comes in and goes, "Well, yeah, but this is too difficult." No, it's not. We're the fucking United States of America. When has anything been too difficult for us to be able to do? When? Why are we afraid of tackling this issue? We run in fear from it. That incenses me, because this is a discussion that is important. People are killing Americans. Americans are killing Americans. And there are things that we can do about it, and just saying, well, no, it's too difficult, it's too complicated, is fucked.
Yeah.
And I refuse to accept that as an excuse.
Being too scared is an excuse that I would actually love to think is real, but the first caller we had that talked about how there's people out there that when they hear these stats and they see these things, they don't care. That scares me more, that there is such a large amount of our society that is just disassociating themselves with the rest of reality. I mean, these are the same people that don't think that healthcare is a privilege.
They value their guns more than human life.
It's fucked up.
It is.
That is fucked up.
But that goes all the way back to the Second Amendment, and you're not liable to be attacked by a bear walking out your front door. Right. You're not liable to be. You don't have to worry about Indian attacks. Things have changed since the 1783 was the Bill of Rights, something like that.
Right.
Things have changed a bit since then. 86, I think it was. Not important. You don't have the same need of having a gun. And like I said, I was saying it earlier, if you work in a career field where it is necessary for you to carry a weapon while you're on shift, I'm in support of that. Yes. Do I think it's a good idea to have people who drive an armored truck have to do so without a weapon to protect themselves? No. That'd be a fucking moving bullseye.
Right.
But does the average person need to own a pistol or a gun?
In some places, I think so, to be honest.
I mean, Nate lives in Detroit. Nate, do you own a pistol?
I do.
You do own a pistol?
I do.
Wow.
You'd never know.
He's mentioned it before.
You would never know, because I'm a responsible gun owner that doesn't go around waving the gun or bragging about whether the fuck I have one or not. I'm just being transparent and telling you, yes, I do.
Okay. I had no idea that you owned a pistol.
And actually, Callie,
it's not a thing that I sit around and jack off about. And the thing is that there are reasonable there's reasonable reasons to own a gun. I'm not saying that there aren't. Well, I think that people who have fucking arsenals, they should be on the FBI watch list.
Yeah,
or some shit.
Kelly, I was going to push back and say that I understand why people would want to own guns, and in some extreme cases, even AR-15s. But should you have more guns than you yourself or your family can carry at any one time?
And here's what it comes. And here's my biggest problem with it. Right, is the gun fetishists again. It's this. It's not just the fact that they feel that they have something that they need to protect. I understand that. I also feel that way. That's why I own a gun. Sure. I feel like I have something I need to protect. I also had a home invasion when I lived in Warren, so
that would do it.
That's another reason. But needing to own that many high-powered, high-caliber rifles, or that, having the arsenal that some people have, or having the tricked-out AR-15 or whatever it is, those are fun. Those are fun. Chris, you've gone and shot an Uzi in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They are fun. And that is what people are conflating the Second Amendment with their pastime and their hobby. And they are reflexively acting the same way that we act when these politicians try to pass it off on video games. Like, hey, don't fuck with my hobby. This is really fun, and I'm responsible. Just because one asshole may have been inspired by a Doom mod to go shoot a school, don't attack my shit.
Right.
And here's the thing. As gamers, we've got to actually sit down and really examine the way that video games portray and continue the fetishization of guns. I understand that it is very difficult to have a game that doesn't have conflict in it.
Yes.
And if a gun isn't present, it's usually replaced by a sword or a knife. I understand all of those things. But there is this disturbing trend of people who get their first access to being able to trick out a gun in the same way that you can trick out a fucking car.
Yeah.
And that's where some of this fetishization starts. And I think that I would be irresponsible to notice it and to not say anything about it.
Yeah, but it kind of also goes back to even the earlier days of things like GoldenEye, the value of grabbing the shotgun as opposed to the golden gun or whatever it happens to be.
Right.
There's always been this kind of...
And I'm not someone who wants censorship either. I don't want cartoon violence. I don't want dumbed down, boring narratives that don't challenge the audience or the viewer. I want all of those things. I want my media to be able to challenge me. I just, when an incident like this happens, I think that everyone has a bit of self-reflection. And, I can't help but notice how many games I load up and how many times I have a Crosshairs reticle that's staring back at me.
Yeah, and I mean it's like anything. Every decade has its flavor of the month or so. And I mean 2000. I guess this one's gone longer. 2005 to 2018, I would say, has kind of been the shooter.
Well, it always makes resurgences here and there. But, one of the reasons that I have a hard time taking this notion seriously, and like you, I do get where it's coming from. But as Joe says, this is a conversation we've had over and over and over again. And unlike guns, whether or not they're enforced, the ESRB does put ratings on things.
That's true.
Should places maybe enforce that a lot more? Yeah, okay, probably. But what more can we as the gamers do besides self-reflection?
I don't know. I don't even know that this has anything to do with us. I'm just saying that, I notice these things.
That's fair.
A lot.
And you should be. You should be noticing these things. That the article that prompted this, that Callie had mentioned at the beginning, there's a particular line in there that made me just call the entire thing into bullshit, despite the fact that, again, it's something that's been coming up for years and years and years, is that this governor mentions that when he was in school, after Christmas, they would have Bring Your Gun to School Day. Rifles and shotguns. Then it goes on to say that it's a culture problem because our culture has changed. Our guns have not.
Well, our guns have changed an awful lot.
Quite a bit, yeah.
They, like you say, the advent of the bump stock.
They're more like toys. Like, again, you buy a gun and then you can buy all of the fucking accessories with it, too.
Well, and, Heartslot just pointed something out in the chat, which we've known about for a while, but on this show, we don't really ever talk about it. The idea that in the not too distant future, you're going to be able to 3D print a gun.
You can already 3D print.
No. That is a very, very true thing.
It may not be able to shoot 6 rounds before it breaks, but it can kill someone.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a terrifying day when that is a possible thing to do, because that will be untraceable, untrackable. What do you do then?
I know. Yeah.
That is a horrifying thought.
No, if you're the United States, nothing.
I mean,
send out thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers seem to be
what
we deal in tragedies.
Ugh. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Zamfir, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Let's go back to our phone lines. If you want to call in, 810-207-1764, Final Encounter Cast on Skype, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Let's talk to Matt. What's going on, Matt?
All right. How's everybody doing? Kelly, nice to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back. Don't look forward to it next week.
Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. I think I'm doing on the opposite side of the spectrum from a lot of you guys here, but I have 3 points mainly that I wanted. But, like a couple of callers before you, I was also in the Navy. I was an electrician's mate in the nuclear field. And I personally know the stigma that everybody has against mental and emotional health. In fact, that's the reason why I was let go from there. I mean, seeking any sort of mental or emotional help automatically puts a target on your back.
It does. Yeah. No. You are absolutely right. And that's not just a self-enforced stigma, that there is sometimes consequences beyond, beyond what you realize when going and seeking treatment. I do understand that.
I tell people I see a therapist and I get weird looks. It's like, I'm LGBT twice over. You think I don't see a therapist?
Well, and I think the stigma, I mean, especially the social stigma around seeking therapy or, wanting good mental health, I think that needs to go away. It's been eroding. I mean, we used to treat people who had mental problems as, like lepers. There was, and I criticized Ronald Reagan earlier in the episode for closing down a lot of the asylums. A lot of those places needed to be closed down or fully reformed, and instead of reforming them, they just closed them down. But they were not terribly good systems for helping people receive help. The help that people get when they seek out mental treatment these days is a lot better. The stigma still remains, and yeah, you've got a great point there.
Well, it's true, but even take how the discussion revolves around mental health even today in the wake of a mass shooting. Like we talk about how we're not mentally ill shouldn't have access to guns. And it almost seems like people are equating mentally ill or mentally unstable to homicidal maniac, when a lot of times that's not the case. We have people like you and me who are totally capable of handling it. We have our ways that we deal with it, whether through exercise, through medication. We are perfectly capable of leading functional, normal lives, even with, things like depression or anxiety or things of that nature.
Yeah. The thing is, and I think I see where you're going. The thing is, when I bought my gun, I did go through a full background check, and I had to wait 2 weeks before I could get it. So, and I had I had zero fucking problem with either one of those things.
Mm-hmm. And it made you feel better?
It made me feel a whole lot better.
Well,
yes.
And that's the thing. Like, if they came out and said, you have to wait a month before you can take this pistol home.
Or if they came back to me and said, you're currently in therapy for depression, we're going to need to do some additional screening measures. I would have been, okay.
All right. Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
I'm up for more screening measures, and if you determine you are definitely a danger to yourself and others, yeah, maybe don't sell me the pistol.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with any of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that comes to bring my second point. It's like, with regards to like definitions and other things like that. I mean, we could talk about like needs. We could talk about wants, military style, things of that nature. But I think a lot of the problem is that people on both the left and right, we start throwing all these terms around. We're so busy trying to defend our side and trying to sort out the bullshit that it becomes impossible to like reach any sort of common ground where any real productive dialogue can take place. We've become really defensive. We're not defining our terms the same, and that becomes a major problem. But
yeah,
we've also, which also brings me to my third point. Even if we do, even if we do have the month-long waiting period, even if we do come to the common ground, even if we do find, quote unquote, common sense regulations that we can put in place, all of that bullshit is going to be made irrelevant if we don't have our government agencies enforcing the laws that we already have. We've already seen this twice now. We saw this with the Texas church shooter. I mean, he was dishonorably discharged for beating his wife.
Yeah.
And in the state of Texas, you can't own a gun. But because the Air Force didn't pass along that information, he was able to go right in and buy the weapon that he used. And even now with this Cruz guy. The FBI has had a lead on him since September.
Yeah, no. I on this, I am 100% with you. The FBI has had a complete and utter failure on this one. There were so many people who tried to raise a red flag about this kid that there is no way that he should have been able to go within 50 feet of buying a fucking gun. No way.
Absolutely.
No way. And dude, I am 100% with you right there. The enforcement, on the enforcement end, yes, they've got to be able to get this shit right. And there is always shit that falls through the cracks. There always is, and that's not an excuse for the FBI. I hold them 100% responsible and accountable for this situation. But, you know, again, it brings me back to my point that that doesn't preclude the discussion from happening. It's still, I mean, that's, to me, in my mind, that's even more of a reason for the discussion to happen, because law enforcement should be on the same page when it comes to this kind of shit that the public is on.
Oh, absolutely. But even you know, we sorry, brain's working a little too fast here. But you know, again, like this, and this is one of the reasons why I myself am very hesitant to start saying do something or pass laws or anything like that, because we see that enforcement just keeps falling through. Yeah. And if enforcing our current laws isn't helping, what good is more regulation or more laws going to do that couldn't have already stopped this? I mean, we've already seen what happened with, you know, going back to your example with 9/11. You know, we put restrictions, you know, a week later, and now we still see those ramifications today. Even though we've seen how bloated and useless the TSA has become, and they haven't caught a single goddamn terrorist. But it's like it becomes very easy to try and justify it or justify passing these laws and regulations, especially when emotions are so high.
Sure.
Or when, and it becomes very easy to not see any possible consequences or side effects that could come as a result. So I think that's also one of the reasons why we all the conversations. I mean, I'm not opposed to having the conversations. You know, before the biters are cold. Let's have the conversations. Let's talk about it. But at the same time, I think we all just need to take a breath. We all need to just sit down and think.
You know, to go back to my previous point about the way that marijuana is being regulated right now, it's especially right now, it's kind of difficult to find a dispensary in Michigan, especially in certain counties. Now, of course, there's the 8 Mile Green Mile that exists, which is the largest concentration of dispensaries. But outside of 8 Mile and that Green Mile, you know, dispensaries are still kind of difficult to find, and many of them are being shut down by law enforcement. Now, gun shops, when you're driving through Detroit, it's sort of like that Dave Chappelle joke where he's like, you know, you're driving into the hood when it goes from normal Kmart, and then it goes gun store, liquor store, gun store, gun store, gun store, liquor store. Where the fuck you taking me? That is the proliferation of the people who can sell guns. And when there's more people who can sell guns than the government can keep track of, or the government can regulate, or the government can even oversee their actions, that I see as problematic. And I see that as the first thing that anyone can address, is trying to get some of these fly-by-night establishments off the fucking, out of business. And it sucks to say, hey, put people out of business, but you know what? There's enough dispensaries in Michigan that I've gone to where I could tell, oh, these guys set this shit up with some glass cabinets overnight, and there's no paperwork that's being filed. And you know what? When I know that, I take my money and I fucking leave.
Yep.
I leave. I don't support that shit, because I want... Being a supporter of medical marijuana, you want people to do it legally, you want people to do it right, and you want that oversight to be there, because then you know moving forward that you're insulated from criticism. And I think that Second Amendment, those that really do believe in the Second Amendment should be a lot more critical of the way that guns are distributed and sold than necessarily the way that they're consumed or purchased. Because I understand you as a consumer or a purchaser has private concerns about the way that you might be able to access guns moving forward. But I think that if we paid more attention to the way that they're sold and who's distributing them and how they're being distributed, marketed, and sold, that may more effectively address the problem moving forward.
Yeah, I go back. Maybe. But here's the point, though. It might not help. It might, but you have to do something. You were kind of hitting on it all the way through. The status quo is obviously not okay.
Right.
Something has to change, and you know what? It's not going to be what either side wants. One side is going to want nothing to change, and one side is going to want it to be a humongous reformation project. And the odds are you're not going to get either of those.
You're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle.
Right. And I think, isn't that what the hashtag, though, the common sense gun reform?
Yeah.
We're not asking for, some people are, but I don't think I would ask for a ban on all guns, but there is some common sense practices I think it's time to take a look at. And you're right, gun owners. It might be something that, you would look at and go like, well, that could infringe on me in a way, but here's the thing. Americans are showing more and more they can't be necessarily trusted just to have anything they want. That's a scary thing to have to say out loud. But I'm tired of seeing a shooting happening every fucking month.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm tired of that goddamn Onion article that I have to see every fucking time this happens. And all they do is change the picture out. Yep. It's the same damn article otherwise.
Yep.
It's great writing for them. It's easy. But I'm sick of this shit. Why is it dangerous to go to school?
Well, and one of the things that I think upsets me the most about it is we've said in when it comes to loot boxes and gaming and stuff like this on this show multiple times, right? Do something yourself before the government does. Obviously, the government's not going to do anything in this case. But what I don't get is that the NRA basically has free reign to do what they want. So they could very easily decide what these regulations are to protect themselves and their rights.
They could be very proactive on this.
Exactly, but instead they just choose to do nothing.
Because it's going to hurt their bottom line. It's going to hurt their ability to make money.
And it's fucked up.
Yeah. All right, that's going to be it for Final Encountercast. Guys, thank you for joining us for this, difficult discussion.
Not an easy one.
No, never is. But, we do appreciate it. We also appreciate all of our callers, whether you agreed or not. And that really doesn't matter. The discussion is what's important. Yeah. And it's through debate like that we kind of come to some sort of common ground where we can agree. I guess my only bit of advice moving forward is to keep your ears and mind open. And, everyone has opinions, and it's fine to exercise your ability to express your opinion, but you got to listen to other people.
Have the discussion.
Don't
just lecture.
Yeah. All right, that's going to be it for Final Encountercast. For my crew, Robbie, Chris, Callie, my name's Nate. Have a good one. Final Encountercast is a production of FinalEncountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Callie Sloan, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.